Deadpool and Wolverine, one of the most anticipated Hollywood films of 2024. I can't believe it took 5 scriptwriters to write this basic story. The story is just basically uh, universe is going to be destroyed and you have to save it. Deadpool, you have to save it. That is the basic story of the film. It adds technical jargon to the mix and tries to make it a little bit more complex than that. But at the end of the day, the basic story of the film is the universe is going to be destroyed and you have to save it. And it's just so basic. And a movie like Deadpool, it needs a stronger story because it can't just rely on cameos and in jokes and action. If there's not a strong enough story, the jokes and the cameos and the action just get tiresome after a while. There's nothing to invest in the film. So I think if you're going into this film for cameos and action and jokes, then I guess you're going to be satisfied. But if you're the type of person like me who it needs some kind of, it doesn't have to be a strong story, but at least something that you could hold on to, that you can latch on to make it worth watching, then I think you're going to be very disappointed in this film. You're going to get tired of it very quickly. Okay, at the start of this film, Deadpool and Wolverine, Wade Wilson, aka Deadpool, played by Ryan Reynolds, he's a bit of a depressed state. He tries out for the Avengers, but he gets knocked back, and he's just recently split up from his girlfriend Marina Baccarin, who's barely in the film. She wants Deadpool Wade to do something with his life, not just be this crazy Deadpool character. She wants him to be something, and so she's broken up with Wade Wilson, and so he's in a bit of a depressed state. So he's just started a new job as a car salesman, but he's not very good at this job. One day he has a birthday party at his apartment, and he gets visited from some goons from this government agency run by Matthew McFadden. The goons take him back to the headquarters of this agency, and Matthew McFadden explains to him that his universe is dying and he needs to save it, and the key to saving his universe is actually Wolverine, played by Hugh Jackman. But Deadpool, he has to go and find a Wolverine, because Wolverine has died in the film Logan, so he can't go back and retrieve that Logan. So he goes back in different universes and finds different Wolverines, and all these Wolverines are different kind of characters at different stages of their life and different shapes and sizes. And one of the cameos in the film, Wolverine is played by Henry Cavill. That's just like really kind of like an in-joke in the film. But he ends up taking back one Wolverine back to the headquarters of this government agency. And this Wolverine, we don't really get much information about this Wolverine, but he's had not a very good past. He's very grumpy, very angry. He's not very violent at the start. He's kind of timid a little bit. He doesn't really get into confrontation at the beginning of this Wolverine, but he's very timid. And so Wade Wilson takes this Wolverine back to the headquarters, but Matthew McFadden says, "Oh, this is not enough. You have to," and so Matthew banishes Wade Wilson and Wolverine to this void world. It's kind of like this universe where characters from are banished. They've done bad things, or they've in the Marvel universe, so they're banished to this void world, and so Wolverine and Wade Wilson Deadpool, they have to find a way to get out of this void world. In this void world, it's kind of like a Mad Max type post-apocalyptic world. The bad guy in this world is played by Emma Corrin. Her character's name is Casanova, and Cassandra Nova, and she has like a gang of discarded Marvel characters. She uses those characters to wreak havoc in this world. She's very happy in this world. She can do whatever she wants. She has total power. She's the boss of this world, so she's very happy, and she makes life hell for Wolverine and Deadpool. But Wolverine and Deadpool manage to escape from their first encounter, and they drive away in a car, and they end up into this like forest woods area, and then they meet some more cameo characters. They meet some discarded Marvel characters from other films like Elektra, played by Jennifer Garner, Blade, played by Wesley Snipes, and the little girl who was in the Logan film, and also there's that long rumored discarded Marvel film Gambit, played by Channing Tatum, that was never actually made. So that he meets these discarded Marvel characters in a cabin in the woods, and then they have like an introductory scene, and then eventually they join together, and they go back to Casanova, Cassandra Nova, and they have a big fight between these discarded Marvel characters, Wolverine, Deadpool, and Cassandra Nova and her gang of discarded Marvel characters, and they have a big battle. And the cameo characters like Blade and Electra, they get to fight, show their skills, their fighting techniques, and so does Gambit as well. And they have a big fight, and eventually the Marvel characters and the Deadpool and Wolverine win the fight, but Cassandra Nova, she escapes, and she escapes back into the real world, back into the present day Earth, and so do Wolverine and Deadpool. So the final scenes of the film, Deadpool and Wolverine have to stop Cassandra Nova, because she goes into the present day to try and destroy the universe in the present day. So Deadpool and Wolverine are tasked with trying to stop Cassandra Nova from destroying the universe. Eventually, Deadpool and Wolverine destroy Cassandra Nova, and then the final scenes of the film is Wolverine ends up staying in the this universe, and they have a get together back at Deadpool's apartment. It looks like Deadpool and his girlfriend are going to get back together. It's teased that they will get back together, and that's basically at the end of the film. It kind of leaves it open that there might be more films, more Deadpool and Wolverine films. Okay, I'll start off with the good points about this new film, Deadpool and Wolverine. If you like the type of pop culture, quick in jokes about different actors and films and the Marvel universe, and you're probably gonna love this film, because there's so many. It's just stacked. Every scene has so many in jokes. For me, it got tiresome after a while. Only about 20% of the jokes landed for me, because some of them just are just not funny, or they're delivered so quickly. They don't get a chance to breathe. It's like you don't get a chance to think about what the joke is and what it means, and because there's so much happening on the screen, and so it's like they throw a whole kitchen sink of different jokes in the film, and most of them just did land for me. I liked how, similar to Spider-Man No Way Home, the cameos in the film, they're not just like quick cameos. They're actually the characters are utilized in the film. They're given something to do, I mean, the cameos are not as strong as the two Spider-Mans in No Way Home as they were in that film, but at least they're given something to do. They're given some kind of character. It kind of gives you a nostalgic feel from the original films like Blade and Elektra. And I like with Channing Tatum's Gambit, it's kind of like a parody character. I assume if the Gambit film was ever actually made, I assume the character would not be like this. I'm sure there'll be some people after this film, after Deadpool and Wolverine comes out, they will want a standalone film with this Gambit character. But actually, it seems like a parody to me, and it's quite funny, and probably one of my favorite characters. Maybe actually my favorite character in the film, the Gambit character by Channing Tatum. He really kind of gets what he's supposed to be doing with that role, and it's very fun, and not he's not used too much. He's just enough for the film. And those cameos that come in the middle of the film really come at a good time, because that humor and those in jokes from Deadpool start to get on your nerves after a while. It's about 45, 1 hour of just Deadpool cracking jokes and hanging out with Wolverine. It gets very tiresome after a while, and then finally when those cameos come, he kind of his character gets sidelined a little bit, and so I was very thankful for when those characters kind of enlivened the film a little bit. But for me, that's pretty much where the good points about the film end. The film doesn't really feel like a movie. It just feels like, as I said at the start of the movie, there's no story to um, to make the film whole. So it just feels like a whole bunch of stuff thrown in together just to make it a film, or as like a product advertisement or the start of a franchise. You just can't just have uh, these guys just saving the universe. There's no stakes, there's no tension. The jokes and the action and the cameos just aren't enough for to make a whole film. And the action in the film, most of it is not very well shot. There's nothing original. There's one scene with Deadpool and Wolverine towards the end. It's kind of like an old boy shot by the side with Deadpool and Wolverine fighting a whole bunch of Deadpool characters that are transported from the void area to the present day area. So they have to fight all these different iterations of Deadpool. That's actually a fun scene, but it's very short, and there's a little bit of action. Most of the action scene in the middle, where the cameo characters are fighting Cassandra Nova and her goons. That the cameo characters Blade and Elektra and the other and Gambit, the other characters, they do get a chance to have a fight, show their action and their moves, but the action scene as a whole isn't very cohesive, isn't very well shot. So that was a bit of a disappointment. Emma Corrin's Cassandra Nova character as the bad guy is doesn't really make much of an impact. She's very similar to the last few bad guys we've had in the Marvel films. He just gives a big over the top performance, and I'm going to destroy the universe. Doesn't give any reasons why, just because I have power and I can do it. And it's very similar to the bad guy in the Captain Marvel film from last year. And it it's just she just given no background, no character development, and it's just like, okay, let's just grab some um, actor from a TV series who's been doing well in some popular TV series, and put her in a Marvel film as the bad guy, and her acting ability and her charisma should be enough to make a compelling bad guy, but it's just not working. They keep repeating the same mistake, and her character just doesn't make any impact. She's not, there's no threat. There's not scary. Eventually Deadpool and Wolverine they're going to destroy her. There's just no suspense. It's just yeah, they really haven't had a good bad guy in a Marvel film for a long time, and yeah, it's a shame in this film Emma Corrin doesn't get a chance to make any impact whatsoever. In the film Deadpool, he gets a nice character arc in the film. It's not particularly original or moving, but at least he gets something, something you can hold on to. But Wolverine, his character gets nothing to do in this film. He just grumpy, and the film deliberately doesn't give you any backstory to why he's in such a bad mood and why he's done such bad things. So you kind of have to piece it together yourself. And Hugh Jackman's performance is just one note. He's just grumpy and moody, and every time Deadpool says something, he gets annoyed and angry, and he doesn't want anybody to talk to him, and he's very off guard, and it's just his character has nothing to do. And if Deadpool's character went to the void area or tried to save the universe by himself, and there was no Wolverine character in this film, the film will be exactly the same. So Wolverine's character is just added to the film for no particular reason. It could be because he's given nothing to do. And so that was a bit of a disappointment here. Hugh Jackman's Wolverine makes this big comeback, and he's basically given nothing to do. So just to round up my review, if you are very fond of these characters, Deadpool, Wolverine, and you love the Marvel Universe, you're going to really love this film. I think this is really not my type of film. I really need at least a basic story for me to hold on to. The characters and the humor and the cameos and the action just weren't up to the standard enough for me to keep me engaged in the film. So I can only give Deadpool and Wolverine 2 stars out of 5. Just to quickly go over the cameos in the film, I already mentioned Blade, Elektra, the little girl from Logan, the abandoned Gambit film, and also towards when they first entered the Void world, there's a character played by Chris Evans, the Torch character. He played in the Fantastic Four movies that he made before he did Captain America. So it's kind of like a bit in joke, because when he's first introduced in the film, it's assumed he's playing Captain America, but actually it's a Johnny Storm character from the Fantastic Four film. So that's a bit of a funny joke, but he gets killed off in the film pretty early, so it's just a small cameo. And that's about it for the cameos in the film. There's probably a few cameos I'm missing because I'm not a huge Marvel comic book fan, so there's probably a few cameos I have missed, but those are the obvious cameos that I saw. The end credit scene, there really is not an end credit scene. It's just the credits roll down the screen, and you get like a montage footage of saying goodbye to the Fox Marvel universe, or the Fox Marvel films they made, like the X-Men films and the Fantastic Four films. So you get a montage of interview footage and behind the scenes footage of like Hugh Jackman and Chris Evans and all the actors that have played all of the Marvel characters in the film, and that's basically the end credits of the film.